Hi everyone, I hope you've had a good week so far and looking forward to the weekend. We've got our Friday Get Hired session with Melanie from our recruitment team, and she's here to tell us all about the latest jobs that we've had this week on the board, what we're looking for, what employers are looking for, and also she's going to share with us some top tips about how to really stand out at interview to set yourself up for success, really. So Melanie, do you want to share with us what jobs we've had come in this week and what people are looking for?
Yeah, so it's project manager job this week, or one of them is, with a great organisation based in London. It is a remote role, but they do have a London office, so there's no requirement to go in there on a regular basis, but they do like to see people from time to time. They are basically looking for someone that has got about 5 years experience working with the Salesforce platform and at least 1 year experience in a project management capacity. Capable of leading potentially multiple projects at once, but also supporting organisations that are doing more complex integrations. So it's a nice role, and they're very, very open. So they will pay somewhere between 70 and 80k for the person that ticks all of their boxes. But they would be happy to look at someone somewhere between 60 and 80 that potentially is looking to make that first step into project management. They've had some experience already. So they're quite open. It's a great job with a really, really good organisation.
That sounds amazing, and a really great salary as well, isn't it?
It's a really good salary. Really, really good salary, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Second role is pretty short term, to be honest. So it's a 3-month fixed term contract with an organisation that is non-profit, but it supports non-profits in terms of how they can generate different types of finance. They need a Salesforce admin, 3 months fixed term. The salary is 36. And again, it's all your usual Salesforce type roles. Setting up new users, setting up permissions, creating objects, creating fields, improving the user experience, dealing with anything that comes in terms of this isn't working, can you show me? A little bit of training involved. So again, a really, really lovely opportunity. There is the potential, there's no guarantee, but there is the potential for it to be extended for a further 6 months after that, and potentially permanently long term. But for now, it's fixed term 3 months.
That's amazing. I think those roles have always been fundamental to helping like the new launches in their career, because you get a few contracts under your belt and then it helps you secure the big job. So, you know, having did a case study on Ada that we shared on social this week, you know, we initially got her 2 or 3 contracts and then she got the permanent role, and now where she is, she's a project portfolio manager. So they're a great opportunity, aren't they, to get your foot in the door?
Absolutely. And I would say, if I can just have a couple of seconds on it, that the thing that we're looking for at the moment is predominantly for contract. So it's not permanent opportunities, it are contract roles, but we are working with a really lovely organisation at the moment. And they have been talking to us about working with trainers. So they're a consultancy, but actually they will provide some kind of training, or that some of their clients are looking for people to train out on Salesforce. So we've managed to get somebody this week that's starting next week, which is fab. It's part-time. So if there's anyone out there that's had some really, really good experience of training, the basics of Salesforce, to be honest, and you're happy to do contracts on a day rate, then again, reach out to us. So it'd be great to hear from people.
Oh, thank you, Jada. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. Grab it, because, you know, if you're looking in the market, just grab these short-term things and keep adding them to the CV. That's what we encourage all our Supermums, isn't it? It's just kind of, you know, keep building that CV and opportunity, because it helps you land that next role.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mel. Any other jobs?
Oh, which other one can I tell you about? I think I touched on this one. Or maybe I didn't touch on it last week, actually. So we've got it's a nice role. It's got a strange title. It's a data impact manager. Essentially, it's a Salesforce professional. We've had the role for about a week. We've got a couple of candidates up for interview at the moment, but it's still very much live and kicking. So happy to hear from anyone. non-profit, really nice organisation that's working with children and young people to make sure that their transition into adult life is smooth, and that they are supported academically, emotionally and socially. It's an admin role that requires somebody that has got the ability to almost disentangle a process. They've had Salesforce in their organisation for some time. It's well documented, but there is a need as the organisation has moved on to potentially look at some of the processes and look at improvement. So anyone that has got all of the usual Salesforce skills and experience, but is really a bit of a dab hand at looking at a process and working all the way back to disentangle it, to look at, well, how was it created? What route did it take? And make that better would be really useful. Because it's non-profit, there's also a little bit of project management around that role, and you will be looking after a data officer. So a little bit of supervisory experience would be great as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mel. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for that little roundup of some of the jobs. We do have lots of other jobs on a market, and so we will help spec you out to our range of accounts that we have as well. So in the description of the of this live, you'll find a link to our website where you can sign up for job alerts, and the team can get involved with you. You can also apply for jobs through our website as well that we've got running through the agency. And just to wrap up, Mel, do you want to share some of your top tips about how people can really, stand out at interview initially, just to make sure they're prepared? Because there is, I had like 40 CVs through for a job that I advertised. Now, not many job opportunities get that many CVs, but obviously creating and making that first impression is really important, isn't it? So what are some of the things that you share with candidates?
Okay, so before we get to interview, the one thing that I will say is that it's always really useful to have a generic CV. So you can utilize that CV if you, there's an organization out there that you'd really like to work for. You don't necessarily know what they're looking, but you'd like to send your details. But what I would say from there is every time that you're applying for a job opportunity, look at the job description, look at the key skills that they're looking for. You can't put anything in your CV that you haven't done. Trust me, you'll get caught out. But actually look at, okay, so this is what it's looking for in terms of its essential skills. I've done all of those, but make sure that on your CV and in any covering letter, they are the skills that come to the forefront. Have a look at any buzzwords that organisation may use and try and bring those to life in your CV or covering letter. And I would recommend that, generally every time that you apply for a new job role, that you would potentially tweak your CV to match that job role. So that would be my first tip. In terms of interview, these are some really basic things today around interview technique rather than, or getting yourself ready for interview as opposed to bringing out your Salesforce skills today. But what I would say is always try wherever possible to make sure that when it is an interview, you are sat with as blank a background as what you can. I always remember supporting a guy at interview, and when I interviewed him, he lived in a small apartment. He'd got a brown sofa and a big pink teddy bear behind him. And I did say, please don't have that teddy bear there when you meet my client. So, nothing behind you or whatever it is, a professional background, but as plain as possible. When you go out to an interview and it's a face-to-face interview, it's really easy to position both your verbal and your non-verbal communication. And what I mean by your non-verbal communication is your body language. Yeah, because you're going to sit, people have said you don't sit with your arms or your legs crossed, sit properly, sit upright. And you've really got to do that as well when you're at home and you're over a screen. Eye contact is a real struggle because you're looking at a screen. And if there's two people on that screen, it's kind of how can you demonstrate to them that you're actually listening to both of them? So the one thing that I would say, I'm trying to do it actually now while I'm talking, I'm not sure if it's working, but what I would say is that, it's automatic that we look at someone's face, and when we're online doing an interview, their face is on the screen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking directly at them. So if you can remember, just keep flipping your eyes up to the camera that you've got in your laptop to try and make that eye contact. if you've got one person asking you a question, try and keep your eye contact focused on that individual. But if you've got two people on the screen, once you then start to give your answer, just start to move your head around a little bit, just so it looks as though you're trying to bring both of them into the conversation. I would always recommend that you have a glass of water, and it's not a problem to take a sip. It's a really easy human reaction that when you're asked a question, we just want to give an answer straight away, because more often than not, as human beings, we don't like a silent second. But the glass of water, if you're asked a question and you take a sip, it's a second, but it will give you 1 or 2 seconds to just really, in your mind, formulate an answer that potentially is much better than just getting that question and going, bleh. Yeah, so that would work. That's something that I would say. And lastly, prepare your questions the night before, the morning before. And your questions should never, ever relate to how much are you going to pay me? How much time sick do I get? What holiday do I have? And what if I can't get to work? Yeah, your questions should be things such as, you know, I've noticed from your website that you offer training and development. Have you got any examples of where that's really supported a member of your team in their career development? How does it work? What would I do? You know, what could happen to me? How long have you been in your job? What made you take the opportunity? You know, what does it feel like to be part of the team? If I was successful to come to your business, you know, how would I be onboarded? They're all really useful questions. And of course, you can ask all of your technical skills about how the system works, what they want the system to do. But for me, prepare your questions in advance. Because every single interview that I've ever sent a candidate to, or that I've ever attended myself, I'm always asked the same question. Now, what would you like to ask us? Yeah. And what you don't want to do is go, I don't have any questions, actually. Prepare some. Because even if those questions have been answered through the interview, you can kind of go, I wrote some down, but you've answered most of them. If you can think of another one, great. But if you can't, it does look as though you prepared in advance. And finally, towards the end of the interview, when you know it's coming to a close and they say, look, it's been great to meet you, thanks for your time. If you are interested in the job, it's okay to let the interviewer know that you're interested. Thanks very much for your time. I've really appreciated meeting you today. You've given me a great overview of the job opportunity and the organisation. And I will say that I would be very keen on that job role. And I think my skills would really fit into your business and offer you something that would be of value to the role. If you're not interested, don't pretend to be. Thank them for their time. And then, you know, that's when the interview's over. So that's just a case of thanks for your time. It's been great to meet you. So don't tell them that you're interested if not. That's probably about it for today.
Amazing. No, they're amazing tips. Thank you. You can tell you've been doing this for years. And that's the benefit of working with a recruitment team is, you know, they will prep you and will give you these top tips and be supporting you when you're going for interview. You don't have to be by yourself. You know, obviously it's quite a nervous experience. So, you know, those tips that Mel shared, you know, just help you get prepared and help get rid of some of those nerves. I have shared in the chat and in the comments some other additional questions. Mel covers some amazing questions there. There are some additional ones there that you can have, because sometimes it's hard to think about what you need to ask. So we did do a blog around that. And I've also shared in the comments the page for our job listings as well. So please do check those out. Please do reach out to our team. We're always ready and waiting to hear from everyone and to support you on your job journey. So thank you, Mel. Thank you, everyone.
Can I just say as well, I love the comment that someone from Facebook has put on there as well. Have your coffee in a Salesforce mug. It shows you're keen.
Very true. I did put a star against that. That's good. Yeah. Get your mug ready and all your plushy stuff behind it. Yeah. Lovely. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Mel, again. And we'll see you same time, same place next week.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.